he's lost his customers for a year. Additionally, we have, at one time we had mostly office tenants, including the township of Evanston on Main Street, but now it's more service, retail, and there's trees that were planted some years ago, and those stores, their signage is not visible. So again, I thought having them on this pylon sign would be a incremental help. Now the sign itself is only 12 feet. We're putting that base of 3 feet so that it can be up a little so it's readable. And that is, I guess the only thing else I would say is the 3 corners are Robert Crown, Walgreens, and a small 7,000-foot strip center. So it's something that would fit within a commercial area. And then from a residential standpoint, there's just a 2-flat to the south of us that is shielded by a 6-foot fence and a pretty heavy tree. So I don't think it'll be an obtrusion to them. And that's basically, oh, and if we had to comply with the rule and put it 15 feet or even 12 feet into the parking lot, it would not be visible neither at the corner nor on the streets, and it would be disruptive to the parking lot and take away parking spaces. So we've placed it in a existing landscape island.
And then just for committee members, so the requirement is a 1-to-1 ratio, height of the sign to setback from the property line. The proposal is for a 15-foot height, and so that would have to be a 15-foot setback. So that's what the variance request is. This would have no setback. It would be at the property line.
Any other questions or comments from staff?
Yeah, just maybe a comment. I guess I do have some concern about the size and height as well as the bulk of the sign at that location. The other corners of the intersection you mentioned, there's minimal signage at those. Additionally, Robert Crown had proposed a taller sign that would have required a variance for setback, and they relocated that sign with even more significant trees around it to avoid that variance request. I do note the concerns of the businesses, but the ones that, that line the street, I think are pretty visible from Main and from Dodge. Laundry World being the exception there. Again, I think that's probably the type of business that you know about if you live someplace without home laundry and don't just drive around and decide to pop in with your laundry someplace. So those are my comments.
Can I respond?
Sure, go ahead.
Typically, well, for instance, Robert Crown and Walgreens is an example. They absolutely have an identity, and everyone's going to know where they are, and there really is minimal reason to, have like any pylon sign other than, just an aesthetic type situation. That also applies to trees. So, this has been, I've been in the business 40 years, and I learned the hard way when I first got in the business. One of my tenants at one property suggested that I plant some trees, which I did. And most of my properties are B quality, meaning, secondary type, mom and pop type properties. And within about 5 years, the trees grew to the point you couldn't see the signs. So what I have maintained to various municipalities is trees, it's fine in front of a Walmart, you could cover it. People are going to find those type of centers. Same with a Robert Crown or a Walgreens. But, a property like this, does have a visibility type issue, particularly those smaller tenants on Main Street and Laundry World. Main Beauty does have a, visible channel letter sign, but it's sort of small. I've tried to keep those at about 15 inches, so they're readable, but the facade is much bigger, but I try to keep it tasteful for the look of the building. So anyway, that's my response.
So I have a concern about cars pulling out of the lot, being able to see pedestrians on the sidewalk, particularly those to the south of the entrance. Because this sign is going approximately where your existing sign is, if I
Yes.
understand it.
Yes.
I am wondering if we do keep with this size sign, if we could shift it to the south slightly, it wouldn't be in the center of that space, but it would make for more visibility to pedestrians for the cars that are pulling out to enter back onto Dodge, to exit back onto Dodge.
I could do that, but the one thing I'll point out, if you look at the site plan, is there's two driveways. There's an entrance. I believe it's to the south of the property. That's how people enter, and then they exit on the north driveway. So really, with the side 1 foot thickness of the sign, people are not going to have trouble entering the property, because either you make a left turn, and if you make a left turn into the property, the sign's not going to impair the vision of seeing either pedestrians or other car traffic. If someone's coming to the right, the same thing is true, that you're going to have to pass the sign before you enter the property. And in fact, like when I go there, probably the biggest concern is the bike path. I'm always trying to be very careful of looking at my side mirror to make sure that there's not a bicyclist versus any like pedestrian. So if you'll notice on the left side of the picture that has come up, the sign is not going to impair visibility. And then when people exit from the north, they will either be coming out and sort of going forward. They certainly are going to have no problem from the people from the north, and from the south. I don't think it's going to make a big difference, but I don't mind moving it a little. I was an accountant in a prior lifetime, so I like this symmetry. So it would be a little off for me to do it, but it's something I consider.
Well, I think in terms of, you've identified it, where we're most concerned about visibility is where people are exiting back on that northern driveway onto Dodge. And signs of this size, the reason why, or one of the reasons why we require the setback is so that we don't block the sight lines for cars coming on and pedestrians. If we can move that further to the south, that would allow for a better sight line for cars coming from and pedestrians from that direction. Even though
I can live with that.
symmetrical.
I can live with that.
All right, any other comments from anyone? So we're gonna move the sign a little bit, right? A little south.
So just on your site plan, it appears that you could actually move it west a little bit. You're not, so I would say, I agree with Laura, and anything that you can do to increase pedestrian safety there, place it in that landscape planner, south and west as much as possible. That would increase pedestrian safety.
Yeah, I could do that. I don't mind moving it to the west part of that island. That's not a problem.
All right, if there's no more comments, if somebody would like to make a motion to address the southern and western movement, that would be great, so we can move on.
I'll make a motion for approval of the sign variation, provided that the sign is moved to the south and west while staying in the same island so as to maximize visibility of pedestrians and cars going northbound on Dodge. This can be addressed during, as a technical change during the issue of the final permit.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Nyden,
Aye.
Mangum,
Nope.
Curtis,
Aye.
Biggs,
Aye.
Cano,
Aye.
Tristan,
Sorry, Mike. Aye.
Cueva,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Griffith, aye. So the motion passes.
Motion passes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Harry.
Harry, if you could just resubmit the site plan, just showing the new location, and submit that to Carlton and copy me, and we can get this moving forward.
Great. Thank you.
All right, next up is 514 Main Street. Derek, are you, this is for a sidewalk cafe for Lucky Platter. Derek, are you on the phone or the Zoom? There you are. Hi, Derek. You're muted, Derek. Oh, I just unmuted you. Crap. Okay. There
Good,
you go.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You're good. We can hear you. So why don't you tell us what you would like to do?
We're looking to use the parking space in front of Lucky Platter to extend the sidewalk cafe that we've been able to use over this past week or so. Would give us about 8 more seats, and we're requesting is a barrier there on the west side of the parking space, so the traffic coming from west to east is not an issue. And then we have our own rope barrier that we've been using. It's a lot of DIY, but it looks really nice, and the residents nearby, a lot of compliments and all that. So we would just extend that to the edge of the parking space. I know there's a 2-foot rule there from the paint line, and it would give us approximately 8 more seats, which does not sound like a lot, but right now it's something that would help quite a bit.
Great. Okay, great. Derek, a couple things. One, did you say you've had people in the parking spaces right now, or just the sidewalk cafe part?
Just a sidewalk cafe part.
Okay. So what we've been doing is we've been having been doing full Jersey barriers in the area, not just from the direction of traffic. So the city would put the Jersey barriers out once you've been approved. There is a $250 installation fee and then a $250 removal fee at the end of the season for that outdoor dining space. And trust me when I say this, it's a greatly reduced price than you would if you had to do this yourself.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure, and I have to thank everyone from the city has been very supportive, and I really appreciate what everyone's doing for sure.
And then this would have to be up the parking space would have, the sidewalk cafe could stay till November 1st, but the parking space would go away around mid-October, October 15th, just because treatment starts at that point.
Got it. Okay,
So
that makes sense.
be aware of that. But those are the top items I have. I think others had other comments about some setup and some questions. Are there others that want to ask any questions?
What is the distance between that westernmost table adjacent to the alley and the curb line?
Which one? I'm sorry. Which one here?
Well, it's the one at the very bottom of your diagram.
Oh, the two top there. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 top.
To the curb there.
Well, to the alley.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. To the alley. Correct. Yeah. About 3 feet.
So one of my concerns about this is I'm just worried about that particular table. It seems so close, and many cars jump a curb a little bit when they're making turns. And that one table is, I have some.
What we've been doing, because I shared the same concern, and right there I have the posts with the 5-gallon paint buckets that we have cement. The posts go in the cement. There's a rope there, and then from there there's also a very sturdy, sizable umbrella stand as well. Then the table. So there's quite a bit there to signal like you cannot drive here. But I understand the concern for sure, and if I need to adjust that, move that, I will, of course.
Yeah, this is Edgar. I have a similar concern with that table there. Even with the posts up, if someone were to come out of there, say with a trailer or anything, their back tires could still drag on and make contact with that post, which could make contact with that trailer. I would just recommend removing that one, or
we can move that for sure.
the other side of the post.
I'll take care of that. We'll make sure that table does not exist there. For sure.
Any other comments or questions?
What is the material that is surrounding, the material that you're supplying surrounding the parking space?
There's the 5-gallon paint tubs, cement inside with the posts that go in there, and then about 3-inch rope that goes along, connecting the posts themselves, and we have planters in between the actual posts themselves.
So we wouldn't have to have those materials because you'll have the Jersey barriers, unless you want to put something else inside the barriers.
Okay, yep. That's great.
The other concern I have is, again, the Jersey barrier that would be located on the west side, that's furthest to the south or furthest to the bottom on this diagram.
Sure.
I think that would need to be pulled a little bit away from the curb in order to allow drainage to occur, just because that's
Sure.
where the grade is.
Yeah,
However,
right.
having said that, you may actually be able to fit another small table back into that corner next to the grate.
Sure.
That might be an alternate location for the 2-top. I don't know how it works.
That's
You'd
a
have to
great
be
idea.
within a 6-foot distance. So I'm not 100% how it would work, but that might be the solution to getting the same number of tables in that space.
That's a great idea. Thank you. That's a great idea.
And then Derek, just one comment, just on your barriers to the north and the south, you're showing 6 feet in between the tables on the sidewalk for pedestrian passage.
Yes.
The barriers seem to go further, so that needs to be 6 feet also. So you.
Yes.
Okay.
That's also 6 feet. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
This is Edgar again. So another comment, speaking of that grate there, it looks like your 36-inch ramp would go over that catch basin there. Is that correct?
That was proposed, for the idea that someone brought up the idea if as a hazard, just that grate there if someone's walking or has a walker or something along those lines. So yeah, we would construct a ramp there, but of course would also have to be constructed that would allow drainage to continue to flow.
Okay, yeah, that was a concern there. Just wanted to make sure we maintain drainage there. We're still providing the accessibility going down. Another thing, putting that concrete barrier on the west end, the one facing traffic there, we just need to make sure it's at least 8 feet from that alley approach there. I don't know what the measurement is now. I know that there's a current parking space. However, with some of these larger vehicles coming out of that alley northbound, turning eastbound, I am worried that they could go in a little bit into that parking space. So do you know the distance from where that first barrier is going to the actual alley approach?
I don't have that information right now. I can find out for you for sure. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that is. I think 8 feet. I'm going to say it's in the ballpark of that for sure. It's not 2 feet for sure. I'm
Okay.
gonna guess more like maybe 7, something around there. I don't want to speak, for sure unless I get the measurement.
Yeah, and that's fine if you don't have it now. Just whenever we do place the barriers, just know that we may have to push it in a foot or two.
Okay.
All right, anyone else? Comments or questions? All right, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the outdoor dining space in the parking lane, provided barriers are placed 8 feet from the alley entrance. And we maintain 6-foot social distancing and 6-foot pedestrian passage for all tables and chairs.
And
Second.
wait, and I have a friendly amendment that the table that is located westernmost, that's right at the alley, will be relocated or eliminated.
Okay, so is there a second?
Second.
Okay, call the roll.
Naiden,
Aye.
Mangum,
Aye.
Curtis. Curtis,
Aye.
Biggs,
Aye.
Cano,
Aye.
Kristen,
Aye.
Cueva,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
and Griffith. Aye.
All right, so the ayes have it. All right, next item.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Derek. Good luck.
Thank you.
526 Davis Street, Wendy Cheng, applicant submits for Sidewalk Cafe, Todoroki in the D4 Downtown Transition District. Is Wendy or someone from Todoroki on the phone? Or Zoom? Okay, let's review it.
How far do those tables come out from the building?
I mean, I'm gonna guess they're probably flush, just the way this thing was designed. It just looks like they have some distance.
And is one of those tables on the very left side of the paper adjacent to the building blocking a doorway?
I don't know if I know what you're saying, which the one at the table, the table on the west?
We're at Comida, right?
Are we at Todoroki?
Sorry, never mind. I skipped an entire sidewalk cafe.
Hold your question for a few minutes.
I will
Okay.
hold my question.
All right. We're still in downtown Evanston. So any questions about this? We're on sushi, not tacos.
Just so you know, this permit was issued conditionally upon this approval, so there may be setup already.
All right. So any questions? I mean, this one looks pretty good, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I have no concerns. I'll make a motion that we approve the sidewalk cafe.
Second.
Okay, call the roll.
Naiden,
Aye.
Mangum,
Aye.
Curtis,
Aye.
Biggs,
Aye.
Cano,
Aye.
Tristan,
Aye.
Cueva, Jones,
Aye.
and Griffith. Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. Gary, you'll let them know that they're officially approved.
Yes, I will.
Great. Okay, 1926 Central Street. Eric Green, applicant submits for Sidewalk Cafe, Comida Cantina in the B1A Business District and Central Street Overlay District. Is there somebody from the restaurant on the call? Okay. Laura, would you like to start with any questions?
I would. It appears that this is laid out so that it's actually one of the tables on the very eastern side, now that I'm oriented correctly, is actually blocking a doorway into the building.
So Laura, I asked the same question. It is not. There was a renovation done at the property that is not there. That there's no exit on that door at all. They just have the one entrance to the property. That one is not. I asked the same question. If you're inside the building, there is no exit sign. There's nothing there. So there was a renovation done on the property, and that door no longer exists as a egress point.
Okay.
Another question maybe for the group. I know when they were in for a permit at Dapper, they were placing some windows along the storefront. I think one of the options they were looking at was having operable windows in there, kind of a openable window wall there. Does anyone know if they went with that option and installed it that way?
I do not know.
Okay, because in that case, I guess they did, then they would need that separation between the indoor tables and outdoor tables, right?
I'll ask that question.
They, I don't know if this still exists. It looks like when I look at the pictures that there is like a temp RPZ or water meter on the outside of the building in the sidewalk. If the renovation's completed, that may have been removed. Just to be cognizant that if that's there, they can't, I mean, they're right at that 6-foot limit for the building, the distance between the building adjacent tables and the curb adjacent tables. They can't push out the tables more to accommodate any outdoor appurtenances that aren't shown.
So yeah, we've already received 1311 concern on the layout. Again, this one was issued conditionally upon this approval. So it came in as a 311. It was sent to the owner, and they have vowed that they will maintain that 6-foot separation with the layout proposed.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
I will make a motion that we approve the sidewalk cafe.
Second?
All right, let's call the roll, please.
Naiden,
Aye.
Mangum,
Aye.
Curtis,
Aye.
Biggs,
Aye.
Cano,
Aye.
Tristan,
Aye.
Cueva,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Griffith, aye.
Okay, so that passes. We have no other items. Do we have anything for next week? Michael?
I don't have anything for next week. Nothing's been given to me.
All right, so I guess then we will not have a Dapper for next week.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, what I do?
Oops.
Gary, do we have anything? Are you aware of any?
No, the applications that have come in have been for sidewalk cafes. They've been renewals, so which don't need to come to Dapper.
Right. Okay.
There's one item for the July ZBA meeting. They'll need to get Zapper at some point, but that may be able to go the following week.
Okay. Great.
Just transporter.
All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody. Happy 4th.
Thanks.